Chapter 4 of How to Read Literature Like a Professor hits the main point that all text comes from other texts. That basically saying that no text is original. Like if so-and-so war basically acts like the Civil War, it is most likely going to be based off the Civil War. And if it fights for the same reasons, it most likely will be for that same reason. Stuff in literature is like that because if you really notice that the stakes that is on the line for this war and the reasons for why they are fighting are basically like the US Civil War, you really realize how intense and how dire the situation is and how you really need to sit down and focus on everything that is happening. That if they mess up, if something goes wrong, these lives of this country and everyone that they're fighting for can be ruined for the next tens of years in this book world.
Archetypes are most apparent in film. One such archetype would be that of the star-crossed lovers. Originally pioneered by Shakespeare in Romeo and Juliet, it has gone on to inspire many films such as West Side Story, Gone with the Wind, Titanic, Brokeback Mountain, and many more. Another example of an archetype would be that of the Beauty and the Beast. Beauty and the Beast stories are almost universal and they have been adapted many times. Of course, there is the Disney version, and it all stems from the French fairy tale, Beauty and the Beast. But more recently, there had been the 2017 adaptation known as The Shape of Water, which is a Beauty and the Beast story where the Beast doesn't become the handsome prince at the end, it stays the Gill Man. This story has also been used in many classic monster movies, such as The Creature from the Black Lagoon, King Kong, and many others.
Characters can also be based off of ideas or concepts. For example, the SpongeBob characters are based off of the 7 deadly sins. SpongeBob is based off of lust, Patrick is based off of sloth, and Mr. Krabs is based off of greed. You might be confused with the lust part, but that just means that SpongeBob really loves everyone around him, because that's obvious. And the other two are pretty self-explanatory.
Alright, so an example of literature being used or applied similarly is in Going After Cacciato by Tim O'Brien. So basically the story is about, or it takes place in Vietnam where Paul Berlin, one of the main characters, him and other fellow soldiers look out for a missing soldier named Cacciato, and along the way they come across a woman named Sarkin Ong Wan, and Paul ends up having a love interest in her, and so she actually ends up being Paul's guide to Cacciato, and this can be connected with Sacagawea, since of course Sacagawea was Lewis and Clark's guide to exploring the Louisiana Territory. So, yeah.
Disney tends to rely on the mold set by older movie villains and uses it as a template for their future villains. Along with that, Disney also uses pop culture figures to inspire new characters for movies, television shows, or books. For example, the character Aladdin was originally based off the comedian Robin Williams.